Hey, I'm Mewd, and you're watching me play Rocket Knight Adventures on the Sega Genesis. Alright, let's go. We've got a Emperor to deal with. In this final confrontation of good versus evil, possum versus pig. His chi energy blasts are so much bigger than mine. Did we get him? Ah, but it turns out that he was an evil robot the whole time. And we did it, we won. And I missed the bananas! But this is the important reveal. This is where we find out that there is an entire army, a factory aboard this ship, which is producing pig emperors en masse. In this ship, by the way, that we are on, is referred to in the manual as the Pig Star. You know, as in like the Star Wars. I love how grim serious this music is. I'm probably not going to get far in this duel with our rival because I came in with such low health. It's tempting to want to rocket into him, since he's, you know, pulling off all these fancy moves against us. But really the most effective strategy to deal with Axel in this stage is just to mash the attack button so that you can get through his attacks and get one of your own in on him. Sparkster looks so serious when we're starting this fight. In terms of chunky little animal dudes in armor fighting, I do feel that this encounter is fairly badass. I'm sure you'll agree. Ow! I'm a fool. But now we have explosive decompression, and we're being threatened to be sucked out into space. And he's losing all his rockets. We're still not done. Everything's got to have, like, 5 phases. Because that's just how this game rolls. If he can't shoot us with rockets, he's just going to ram us. I hope you like the charge-up sound effect, because you've probably been hearing it a lot, and you'll continue to hear it a lot. This game does have a problem in the same vein of, like, you know, your Mega Man X, where you have a charge-up ability, so you might as well charge it in any inactive moment. If you do keep Sparkster's rocket charged the whole time, like for a 30-second period, it will backfire and you'll get stunned, which can be fatal. And we lost our rival to the vacuum of space. That is the end for him. We didn't get to see it, because I'm not being a good tour guide here, but he had a little tinkle as he was sucked out into the void. I'm gonna miss him. We got killed by these rando pig robots. So what else? I should probably get back to actually like going over my opinions of the different Rocket Knight games. We have a short reprieve here, so this is a good time for it. So, Sparkster on the Sega Genesis, that one is more of a direct continuation. In that one you're fighting lizards instead of wolves or pigs, which isn't quite as interesting. Not, not to offend any lizard fans out there, but I didn't think that visually they were as cool. I wanted that one up, but I did not position myself well. There we go. 10 whole extra lives. Sparkster on Sega Genesis is weird because, well, one thing with the charge up actually, they make it so that it auto charges. So you just push the button whenever you want to actually use it, which is, kind of a smart design decision, but it's not as satisfying as charging. I like charging things up and then letting go and getting a big boost of power. Here's the heart of the Pigstar. This is the consciousness of the Emperor, the source of all evil, the darkness that lies within us all. And we get some jaunty little bullfighting music. Beating this guy is all about hitting that little robo-phallus that extends out of the sphere. I meant to do it that way. Rocket Knight Adventures 2 Sparkster on Sega Genesis also tried to be a bit more like Sonic in that there were 7 swords to collect. As opposed to Chaos Emeralds. And if you got all of them, you would get gold armor for Sparkster. But Rocket Knight Adventures 2 Sparkster on Sega Genesis is kind of bad in my opinion. Like, the level design is kind of sloppy and weird. And I just didn't enjoy it enough to actually want to go back. Part of that is just maybe that, like, I played it at the wrong point in my life. Like, I had to hunt that game down because it didn't sell nearly as well as this game. And there was one other Rocket Knight game, Rocket Knight, which was released on, Steam, Sega, not the Microsoft Xbox 360 and PS3. It was an indie title made by Climax Studios. It's very underrated. It kind of like flew under the radar, I think, but it is a lot more rough around the edges than this game. Like, this maybe hasn't aged about as well as maybe a 16-bit game can hope to. But I think that Rocket Knight looked a little rough as it was, and I think that's just kind of really just a budgetary thing. But I think that their heart was in the right place. The game tried to approach a lot of design issues with Rocket Knight in that, like, they pull the camera back so you can actually see where you're rocketing around to. Made that more of a sensible, like, design element of the game. Though again, I think that really the point of this game is not so much the rocketing, so much as just actually getting to see all the cool stuff. So having lost a little polish was pretty fatal for that game, I think. And we need to get out of here because we destroyed the Pigstar. And it's just like the Star War. The entire crew of that ship just obliterated, snuffed out in a moment. But we're still not done. This CRT, like, just television possessed by the Emperor is after us. He's going to make sure that we, helpless as we are going to be taken down with him. There's really nothing we can do in this. We just have to not take damage, which I'm not doing a great job at avoiding. Things are getting hot. I screwed it up. And that actually means I gotta do the whole fight over again. After you get through that initial jaunty stage, the Emperor likes to just throw all of his new attacks at you for this version all at once before he extends his little phallus again for you to damage. Once he gets through his little show-off period, what you have to do is like let him have an attack, and then you can have a turn. You can have a little go at it. They usually put it out the opposite of where you physically are. I guess not in that case, but generally. The general boss theme here is sped up here, and it is something that really gets my blood pumping, honestly. I love the music in this game. I love everything about this game. I love how great it feels graphically. I like how it feels kinesthetically. I like it. The nice thing is if we do beat the boss, then we get our health restored for that last little bit. If it actually required you to beat the little CRT Emperor with what health you have remaining after this fight, probably would never finish this game, because I'm very bad at dodging it when he tries to tackle you in that phase. We'll see if I do better this time. Probably not. Probably a good thing we didn't bring the princess with us here, honestly. Very dangerous situation. Just like The Force Awakens. Alright, here we go. Gotta focus my key energy here. Gotta do my absolute best for you. Gotta fake him out a little bit. It's a little embarrassing because last time I got hit right at the end. Like right at the very last possible moment where his last chance to damage me before it was all over. Just barely enough to get through this. But even if he is defeated here, as long as any evil lies within the heart of any man, he will one day return. I do feel like this game is kind of a pastiche of a lot of 90s anime tropes in that way. I guess we, made a quick pop over to the Pig Empire and to get the princess. But, Sparkster doesn't want to deal with, like, a lot of ingratiating, a lot of, like, prostration over his heroics. He just bows out very politely. What a gentleman. We should all aspire to be like Sparkster, I think. But, like, the climax of this game is, it's got, evil cyborg consciousnesses. That sort of thing is a sort of, like, weird escalation where a fun fantasy thing will have some kind of elements of body horror to it at the end. I don't know if we see that as much anymore. Probably a good thing if we don't. So I guess I never really got to go over all the meaningless Rocket Knight Adventures lore that I had set aside here, that I researched for your benefit. So the Kingdom of the Possum Empire actually has, like, different names depending on which manual you're looking at. There's, like, the Zephyrus Empire in the SNES version, or the Zebulus, not Empire, Zebulus Kingdom. Empires are evil, as you know. Versus the Zephyrus Kingdom in the SNES Sparkster game. Another bit of lore is that Princess Sherry has a cousin named Princess Cherry, who you rescue in Sparkster on Sega Genesis. There's a little bit of weird backstory with Sparkster and Axel, in that Sparkster apparently had a master called Mifune Senjula. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but it's not like the manual had a pronunciation guide. But apparently Axel murdered Sparkster's master, his sensei. And that's part of, like, our need to try and, like, deal with this guy. We didn't really need to know that at all, but that's there in the manual if you care. Big Empire is called the Devontides or Devontides Empire? I don't know. But according to the Sparkster, the Rocket Knight Adventures Sega Genesis manual, there was a hero called El Zebulus who sealed away the Pig Star hundreds of years ago, and I guess it's back. Thanks, Konami. And this world is called Elhorn. That's another piece of information you know. Try normal mode, you coward. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, you're responsible for having sat through it, and maybe I'll do more if you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts. I know there's a chorus of Let's Players out there, and maybe I am or am not bringing anything new to the table. But I had fun. Hope you had fun. And I guess next time, see you later.